Israel, what do you say? And then you say, how many kids did you kill today? Okay? Israel, what do you say?
How many kids did you kill today?
Biden, what do you say?
How many kids did you kill today?
Boeing, what do you say?
How many kids did you kill today?
Lockheed Martin, what do you say?
How many kids did you kill today?
That's right. It's important to know that for every single Palestinian killed, there is a weapons manufacturer responsible for it. Those weapons manufacturers are here in the U.S. We live in a country that makes the weapons that are responsible for this genocide. And it is a crime that is not reported every single day in every single story about this genocide. After the Palestinian resistance operation launched on October 7th, the Zionist state of Israel started a terroristic bombing campaign itself on the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. They want to call the Palestinians terrorists. It's Israel that is the terrorist in that situation. Over 19,000 Palestinians have been killed since then. And it is sickening to see that number go up every single day, every single hour. Israel and the Western imperialists, especially the USA, are referring to this time of this conflict as the Israel-Hamas war. That's what the reporting on this situation has been by the Oregonian, by the mainstream media, by every single story just about that we hear in the US about Israel and Palestine. It's the Israel-Hamas war. This is a deception. This does not reveal the truth of what is going on in Palestine. What is going on in Palestine is a genocide, and it must be reported as such. If we actually listened to these fallen journalists who are here today honoring, every single story about Palestine would characterize this as a genocide, would be calling for a ceasefire, would be pointing out who the responsible parties are in this situation. Instead, what do we get? We get that Israel has the right to defend itself. The inhumane Zionist aggression against Gaza with aerial bombardment and missiles cannot be described with any other word except for genocide. Bombs and rockets are fired at women, children, and civilians. No stone is left unturned by this bombardment. Journalists are targeted, and I want to draw a parallel here between the journalists who are being targeted and healthcare workers who are being targeted.
Amen.
I'm one of the thousands of healthcare workers in the United States who are coming together to stand up for Palestine.
Yeah.
Recently, a report came out from workers in Palestine that 106 doctors have been killed since October 7th. Recently, footage came out from Israel of the Islamic University Medical School being bombed, along with the adjacent oncology center. So when reporting tries to tell you that this is a war on terror, that this is a war on Hamas, that this is a war of Israel defending itself, think again. This is a war against medical students, against journalists, and against cancer patients.
Shea!
There is no terrorist target. The goal is the complete obliteration of Palestine. Western states boast being democratic and boast freedom of the press, including President Joe Biden. And instead, we have him funding this genocide in Palestine, which is killing hundreds of journalists. Does that seem like freedom of the press?
No!
Does that seem like holding up democratic values?
No!
They even oppose the declaration of a ceasefire to deliver humanitarian aid.
Shea!
It is a terrorist state world, including right here, oppose the persecution of the Palestinian people and protest against the Israeli occupation. We celebrate the resistance of the Palestinian people, and we celebrate these journalists who have lost their lives in the struggle to report on what is actually happening, as the Oregonian and other American media outlets fail to do.
Yeah.
While the Western imperialists approve and support Israeli Zionism and its genocide against the Palestinian people, we support the journalists in Palestine, the healthcare workers in Palestine, every single Palestinian standing up for their right to self-determination and their right for a life, a right to thrive. We call for a ceasefire now and the right of return for all Palestinian people. We call on all countries to sever their relations with Israel, to follow Bolivia's path and cut their relations with the fascist Israeli regime. We call on media outlets to call for a ceasefire every single time they report on this. Not just a half-hearted declaration,